Potwierdza, potwierdza. I want my money back. Not a chance.
Timid isolation.
Witches see the mysteries and beauty of this planet in ways that men cannot see.
430, 25, deal. Cut you down.
Baby, let me undress you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was me then, this is me now. Please welcome me. Oh yeah, play it. I love this. Oh my God, Lytham St. Anne's, baby, we're here. Mamacita. Hey, we're here, baby. You were supposed to scream then as well, you bastards, after all that energy. I went, well, hey! You went, get on with it, fat boy. Live comedy is back. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Booth B. Graffo. Wasn't it fabulous? My oldest friend in the comedy. I'm very nervous. It's my first gig in 2 years. I was just talking to Bob. I said, Bob, I'm very nervous. He goes, yeah, you'll be all right. You'll be all right. People are very, very reassuring. He goes, you'll be all right. I said, I don't know what to do. How should I be? He goes, Ahmed, just be yourself. So I sold him a carpet. But this is my third time here. I was here in 2013. I was here in 2016. Anyone here in 2016 when I was here? Yeah. 2 people. That's fantastic. That's a proper stamp of approval. 2 people have come back. But the first time, I'm going to tell you this. I never said this to you. In 2013, our sat nav broke down, and I rang the theatre in advance. I said, I'm really lost. He goes, well, describe where you are. I said, there's some sea. Because you've got to be more specific. I said, there's some water. I think. He goes, you got to be really, really specific. I said, a fat bloke with no teeth just offered me a blowjob for the price of a bag of chips. You're at Granny's Bay. You're at Granny's Bay. You're not far. And bring my mother with you. But anyway, it's great to be here. Are we happy? Are we happy to be out? Yeah. Come on! Are we happy to be out? Yeah. I could have been anywhere, but I chose to be in an infected scout hut in Lytham St. Anne's. This is the place to be. And by the way, I'm very aware this is apparently 2 towns. There's Lytham and St. Anne's. But apparently, if you Google it, it comes up as 1 town. There's been a lot of debate about this. You know? I'm sorry, debate. I might confuse things, but you know, there's also another suggestion that might think that actually nobody cares. The second time you've jumped, I'm so sorry. Oh my God. Also, Lytham does sound. I love the name Lytham. It sounds like an ailment a horse might have. What's up with your horse? It's got a bit of Lytham. Where? In his black balls. What are we going to do about it? Because the doctor's given me some ointment to put on his file or a counsellor. Also, oh dear. I'm very nervous as well because things have changed since the pandemic. You're all used to a higher quality of content. And I've done very few gigs. I got pinged about 8 times, so all my warm-up gigs were gone. So I thought that COVID variant jokes would be something would connect with the crowd. Oh no. I was heckled. I would say I even did some dancing as well afterwards. You know, sometimes if you laugh at something silly, I would say COVID variants. There's the Delta variant. There's the Delta Plus. You know, what next? The bankers variant? It's quite harsh, but it clears after 3 working days. Hit it! variant. It's quite mild, but I was suddenly very attracted to women of a certain age. Hit it! And then I got the Sean Bean variant. Sean Bean variant, which means whatever role I played, whether it was Russian, Turkish, Arab or French, or even if I played an alien genetically spliced with a bee, I still talk in a Yorkshire accent. Enough of that. But you got very, and also I have to say, I actually played this theatre many years ago. Before I was a comedian, I was an actor, struggling actor, young in my 20s. And I fell into comedy. It's true, I fell into comedy, but I want to be a serious actor. We did a little tour of this play. We came to this venue many years ago. And people started laughing when I came on. Literally, the front row were tittering. 10 minutes in, people were pissing themselves. Half an hour in, a woman was laughing so much, just in the back row, she got like lightheaded and she collapsed and they stopped the show. I thought, you know what? That's the last time I'm playing Anne Frank. You know, I'm done with this. I really am. And hanging around here, you know there are a lot of people from the south who like live in Blackpool. We hung around Blackpool today. Very strange beggars in Blackpool. Someone clearly from the south saying, excuse me, have you got £65 for a cup of tea? It's a bit much for a cup of tea, because yeah, you get a bit of cake as well. So jokingly, I said, where are you going, the Ritz? They're like, yeah. I don't know, you want me to give you £65 so you can go and have afternoon tea at the Ritz Hotel? He goes, what's it to do with you? Once you give me the money, it's got nothing to do with you. Nothing to do with that money, what I like. I thought, you know what, as far as beggar ethics is concerned, that's right. I said, you know what you deserve? You deserve afternoon tea. How about we do this? Why don't we get the train together? I will take you to the Ritz Hotel and you can have afternoon tea on me together. Looked at me and said, nah, you're right. I said, why? He goes, I'm very particular about who I'm seen with in public. I just thought that Gemma Collins is really up herself these days. And what she was doing in Blackpool, I will never know. That's a shit joke. I might cut that one off. That's Ladies and gentlemen, I'm honestly, really, seriously, I know you're looking down, you're embarrassed. You know you're embarrassed. You're embarrassed because there's not that many people here. And I'm glad. If I could hug you all for coming out while England are playing an international match. Well, I've got notes on it. I've got notes here. I've got England-Hungary on that one. England are 1-0 down right now. I know. So we're not missing anything. I want to thank you. I want to thank you because I was in the theatre in Telford, a 700-seat venue, and only 200 people showed up, and I said, thank you so much for coming. This means, you know, during a COVID spike, there'll be 15 people, 20 people, 200 people. There's about 280 people here tonight. I want to thank each and every one of you. And there's someone from the crowd just said, Roy Chubby Brown's here next month, and he's sold out. I said, how do you know? He goes, I'm on the waiting list. I looked at that young person, and I'm not proud of myself. I said, you know, one of the main symptoms of COVID is loss of taste. So I'm not surprised. And also, I've got to tell you, I did have a friend in Lytham. It's actually true. A friend of mine, he was a Scouser. He moved to Lytham. He's not with us anymore. He was a very interesting family. His parents were policemen, and all 6 of his brothers were policemen. He was a bank robber. It's true. And one of his bank robberies went wrong. There was a shootout, and sadly, he was killed. And in the press, it was reported that he died surrounded by his family. That gets less funny the more I do it. Isn't it great? Listen, these are just a couple of warm-ups to say thank you for coming out. It means a lot to me. And isn't it great? Isn't it great? There are some, you've come out, you're very brave, you know, and there are some people still at home, they're drinking alone at home. Why would you want to be drinking at home when you could be here being charged 3 times the amount? And you can enjoy some comedy surrounded by drunks with COVID. This is fantastic. It's fantastic. And this show, we're bringing the good times back. We're bringing the good times back. You know, it's all about who. God, how can. What a time. I honestly thought it would last a month. That's what I thought, a month maximum. And I knew it was serious when lullabies changed. You know, you can hear parents bring their kids to bed. Literally, I can hear them in the street. They go, come on, darling, let's get to bed. Okay, so a little lullaby. There were 2 in the bed, and the little one said, 2 meters! You hear stuff like that. You know it's serious. Do you know, I stand before you now as someone who's double vaxxed. I've had 3 tests this week. Okay, 3 tests in the last 10 days. I am completely clear. But at the beginning of the pandemic, you couldn't get a test for love nor money. I didn't even know where. I had no idea where you could get the test. Someone said, just Google it. So I Googled. I said, I put in test center. You know, I took my car for an MOT. That's what it was. I said, no, there's no dummy. Put in test center COVID. So I sat there behind a computer and said, test center COVID. I got a dogging site in Berkshire. And it was only when the testicles hit my top lip. I thought, this is not a nasal swab at all. But we're talking about petrol shortages. You know, I made a couple of films. You know, remember that we were all going buying toilet paper when we thought we just during a pandemic we're literally going to shit our assholes off into oblivion. I actually filmed the moment because I couldn't get toilet paper. Here's the moment I actually filmed me getting. And here we go. And I actually made a song there. Ha Sibenya Baba It was a great moment. Thank you, Brian. 2 claps, thank you. And we all became informants. Remember, everyone was sending WhatsApp messages, the COVID does this, be careful of that. And we all became like information centers. I even made a public information film to help people's marriages, okay, which the government, I made this film, I'm very happy to show you this. This is a public information film which the government sent out. How about this?
Hope you're enjoying your quarantine time. Here are my top tips for self-isolation. You can read literary classics. Learn a musical instrument. Declutter. Connect with your pets. Watch blockbuster movies. Thank you. When we share
Did you see the way I said thank you? You see the way I said thank you? The way I said thank you? I can't get a gig on QI. Can you believe that shit? And big thank you to Bruce Springsteen for giving me that music for free as well. But you see, but we're now living in the good times. Because remember the days when those were crazy days when we first saw Chris Whitty and we thought it was a cross between Bobby Charlton and Nobby Stiles. Did you think that? We all thought that. You know, when Boris was in hospital with COVID and Dominic Raab was the Prime Minister. Dominic Raab. See, no one thinks that's funny. No one thinks that's funny at all. But in Europe, they were pissing themselves. Who can forget? Who can forget? Or who didn't go to the supermarket? You know, and you went there and you forgot your mask, couldn't be bothered to go back and get another mask at home, so you just pretended you had asthma. Come on! We all did it. Who at Thursday at 8 o'clock when we were clapping the NHS, who didn't just at 8 o'clock run in the road and just take the applause for themselves? Come on, we all did it. Who didn't gather all the wine bottles in the road and just gather them all up and put them by the wheelie bin of your neighbour so everyone thought that they were a complete alcoholic? You know, and Abu Hamza, the Imam, had a lot of explaining to do the next day. Hey, come on. Who didn't see when they saw their neighbour go for a second walk? Who didn't call the police? Eh? Come on. We all did it. Who didn't see a child with a puppy and then just punch it in the head and steal the puppy? Come on. We all did it. But wasn't it? It was a crazy time. It was a time, literally, where if you went for a second walk, you could get in trouble with the police. I actually made a film about it. Have a look at this. I had to show this.
So I'm keeping a little video diary.
The microphone was on my shoulder.
Today with a bit of stretching before a once 30 to 60 minute walk. Very lucky to be in Richmond Park. Thank you. Lovely day. When you come for these beautiful walks, you can meditate. You can think about life. You could. Hello? Okay, I'm coming now. Oh, we've got to go back. Switch off. I've got to go back. So I'm going to try my second walk now, and I'm going to wear a little disguise, just to be on the safe side. People know me, so people are so judgmental around here. They'll look at me because he's gone for a second walk, and they might report me to the police or something around here. I mean, it's not like I'm the only one doing it. Oh, for God's sake.
Thank you also to Bruce Springsteen for putting on the teddy bear outfit. That really happened. That was a genuine paradigm that we lived in. We were told, can you imagine? And we were so compliant. We were told everyone stay in there. We've got lots of anti-vaxxers, kind of like lockdown people, but we all obeyed. We were told stay at home, watch Netflix, and everything will be all right. And we did. So watch Netflix, watch Good Morning Britain, and get pissed off by anything that Piers Morgan's pissed off with. Just be pissed off with him. Do you remember that? And I was with him for most of it. Then he kind of lost me with his lockdown anthem. Do you remember that? When he was getting Catherine Jenkins every second week singing the Vera Lynn song. Do you remember? We'll meet again, don't know where. Every 2 weeks they were pushing this as a lockdown anthem. Now, sorry. I'm a British Iranian. I was offended by that. Because I know that Vera Lynn, when she sang that, originally it was a World War II song to give hope to fathers and grandfathers and uncles and brothers, to give them hope to come back. We'll meet again, don't know where. It was emotional. That is not excuse me, I've been in lockdown with my family for 1 year. The last people I want to see when this is over is my family. We'll meet again, don't know where. I know exactly where, I know exactly when, Catherine! In the kitchen in 5 minutes! I've changed the words to the song. It should be, finally we can go, quite where to, I don't know, but I know for sure my family won't be there. I don't know when I'll want to see my kids again, but I know it won't be soon, I'm sure of that. Because if I do, I'm going to throw myself over the white cliffs of Dover. Well, that deserved a big laugh actually, but fair enough. But I was in lockdown with my family, and it's actually good. It's actually very good. For people who spend a lot of time away from their families, I got some time with my wife, and I have to tell you, it was a wonderful time. It was a wonderful time. And my wife and I, throughout the whole of the pandemic, we, I don't know how to say this, but we did sheepdog trials together. I get a big laugh. Yeah, I'm glad you're pissing yourself. That's fantastic. I think it's because when you know you're in a global pandemic, when the whole world is having the same thing, you become aware of the oneness of humanity. You become aware of the oneness of the human body. Like the small toe is the furthest away from the brain, but if you stub your toe somewhere, it's terrible pain and you want it to stop. So we realized everyone is going through this, so it put domestic experiences and arguments into perspective. You know, my wife and I, we stopped arguing actually. Around March and April, she was like saying, "You've just left your underwear there, you filthy bastard, what are you doing there?" And she said to me, "Do you know what your trouble is?" I said, "I know what my trouble is. I know, okay? I'm a narcissist, I'm a comedian, I talk about myself all the time. You know, I interrupt you. When you talk about things, I somehow bring it round to me and I talk about me, you know? It's terrible. I lie very easily. You say, are you happy that we go and see my parents? I lie and I say yes. You know, when you say, does my bum look big in this dress? I lie and I say no. You know? When I take a shower, I don't clean the plug. I'm a hairy guy. The plug is filled with filth and hair and I'd leave it there. And here's something else about me you don't know. And I started confessing. I said, when I was 14 at school, a chemistry experiment went wrong and the whole science lab burnt down. I didn't want to take the blame, so I blamed a kid, a friend of mine who comes from a very rough family. He pleaded his innocence, but they believed me because I came from a good family, and as far as I know, he went to Borstal, and even now, he's in the prison system. So that is the kind of person I am. That's the trouble with me. She looked at me and she said, what dress does my bum look big in? I learned a lot. But also, I have to say, I also learned that, you know, we were all searching for normality. That's the one thing. Normality gives you a hope in pandemic that things might come back to the way it was. You know, normality is very important. You know, like for example, anyone go on the trains around April 2020? They still have that announcement. Remember, see it, say it, sort it. If you see something suspicious, text British Transport Police. You know, even there's no one on the train. I went on the train like the end of April, just literally down there, not far away, because I had to go and get some food. The supermarket was closed. I had to go. And literally, see it, say it, sort it. You could hear it on the train. I was on a carriage all by myself. See it, say it, sort it. See, and there was a guy at the end of the carriage, and I noticed he was wearing socks with sandals. So I texted British Transport Police. Nothing. And the football was on. I'm a huge football fan. Any football fans here at all? Wasn't it? I really love the fact that we had football was on. There was no one in the stadiums. I love the fact that the England team was so woke. I love that they'd take the knee when they were getting booed. I love the fact the England team said everyone's welcome. The England team write letters to gay people saying, we are the England national football team. We believe in the oneness of humanity. Everybody is welcome at Wembley Stadium. They wrote an email to Harry Kane, sent an email to me on the first day of my tour. Goes, dear Omid, good luck with your tour. All the lads are behind you. Maybe go easy on the swearing. Maybe go easy on the accents. You know, if people aren't so happy. You know, some of the Nigerian accents you've been doing in Iran, Dele Alli wasn't too happy about that. Easy on that now. In general, maybe not go so big on the ethnic material. I just thought, you know what, the England team can go fuck itself. Seriously? But the football was on, and I got my old job back. Some of you know I'm on a three-man FA committee looking at football chants, and it's really, I got my old job back, and now the people in the stadiums, everyone's saying that after the Me Too thing, after the whole George Floyd thing, will football fans self-police? That's a big question now. Because in the old days, if someone got up and said something like racist, used the P word or the N word, everyone put their heads down because we thought we were in the minority. We might get our heads kicked in if we say something against these people. And will fans self-police? And I've seen it myself, it's brilliant. Football fans are very good at football chants. We love football chants, like West Ham, do you remember that when West Ham were losing 6-0 to Man City at the Etihad? 6-0 with half an hour to go. And they attacked the Man City fans going, we lose every week, we lose every week, you're nothing special, we lose every week. Remember that? I have seen football fans self-police with football chants. It's amazing. I saw a game recently when they let the fans back in. A couple of charity games go on during the afternoon. It was one weekend, West Ham Old Boys were taking on Rangers Old Boys. Remember Rangers from Glasgow? You know, the players were like in their 40s and 50s, and it was amazing. Rangers had their old goalkeeper there. Give me a cheer if you remember Andy Gorham. Who remembers Andy Gorham? Andy Gorham, who suffered from slight schizophrenia about 20 years ago, and is now a big mental health champion, okay? But there's a group of Rangers fans behind him going, 2 Andy Gorhams, there's only 2 Andy Gorhams, 2 Andy Gorhams. There's only two Andy Gordons. And with Mental Health Day, just yesterday, the whole group of West Ham fans gave a riposte. This is self-policing. They gave a riposte to the tune of I'm Forever Blowing Bubbles. They come back with, your attempt at humour's flawed, mate. Schizophrenea's not like that. You're thinking of another disorder. Quite frankly, you are out of order. Making fun of mental illness won't get laughs round here. We're a little more sophisticated. And you're a bunch of fucking queers. Thank you. Boris Johnson had a 2-hour meeting with Steve Bannon. You all know Steve Bannon, the well-known white supremacist who was behind the January the 6th Capitol Hill insurrection. Boris Johnson had a 2-hour meeting with him. I thought that was very suspicious, so I texted British Transport Police. Nothing! And to give you normality, comedians, we were told to keep doing gigs during the pandemic because people felt if the joy givers are out there, we still will feel normality. Excuse me, there is nothing normal about doing a gig in Newcastle, Stand Comedy Club, 300-seat venue with 80 people socially distanced, all wearing visors. Okay? Every single people, a visor. It looked like a soldering and welding conference. And they weren't allowed to talk to me. The first half of the gig I was going really well. People just listening. It was, no one moved, no one walked out, no one heckled. I felt bad, and I said, "Can't you talk to me?" And they said, "I can't talk to you." I said, "Okay." So I felt, look, if you really have to heckle, just like, why don't you just steam up the inside of your visors and write your heckles backwards? I lost the gig. Literally, everyone going, to knock. How childish is that? I don't know what Tanakh is. Oh, and drive-in gigs. How about this? To create normality in the country, because let's do drive-in gigs. To make it more glamorous, like America, they have drive-in cinemas. We all remember Grease, where Sandy and Danny Zuko try to like make out, and he puts his arm around her, and then she shuts the door in his bollocks. He goes, oh, because it's a glamorous drive-in gig. Let's comedians do glamorous Brent Cross Shopping Centre, car park, 300 cars. Okay, how awful is that? And they can't, literally, I can't hear them. They're in cars. They can hear me tuned in through a microphone on their radio stations. Okay, now if someone doesn't like me here, you can just leave, and I don't mind. But can you imagine at a driving gig, someone doesn't like you, a car trying to do a 3-point turn, 5 cars having to move out of the way, people getting out of the cars, come this way, and the guy backed out, drove around, came round to the front of the stage, opened his window, went, "You fucking shit!" One guy got out of his car and he attached a hose pipe to his exhaust and fed it through the window. I'm too fragile for this shit! It's all about creating normality. One gig, a 1,000-seat venue, socially distanced, 200 people, okay? 200 people maximum, and which is great. I sold in 5 minutes. 200 people, 1,000-seat venue, all dotted around. You look like a comedian on the wane, okay? It looks like I'm about to commit suicide through autoerotic asphyxiation in a hotel room the next day. And they're all there, and they're all wearing masks. Everyone had to wear a mask. This is like October of last year. They're all wearing masks, and I can't hear them laugh. I can't see them smile. So I said, this is really abnormal. They all went like this. I said, let's make this more normal? They went, sure. I said, why don't we, to make it more normal, why don't we just pretend that everyone here is an ISIS hostage? And I'm like the head of ISIS just trying out a stand-up routine. Just to make it more normal, to give it a sense of normality. So I was strutting around saying, you know, last night I went to an Al-Qaeda charity fundraising gig. It was terrible, no music, no women, no alcohol. It was like spending an evening down Cliff Richard's throat. Who do I have to shoot to get a laugh around here? To make it normal. And I ask you, is it normal that Jacob Rees-Mogg, a well-known Brexiteer, has moved all his money out of the UK into offshore accounts in Ireland? I thought that was so suspicious, I texted British Transport. I finally got a reply. I got a reply today. Can I read you this? This is the most British thing I've ever received from British Transport Police. How about this? Dear Mr. Jalili, unless these events happen on a train, I'm afraid there's nothing we can do about it. So we're trying to stay normal. And I have to tell you, it's not normal for me either. It's not, you know, my circumstances have completely changed. I no longer live in London, and my wife said we've got to move. And it's true. I said, you know, if we have to move, I'll go anywhere, but just not like the east of England. She goes, I'm thinking east of England. Well, as long as it's not East Anglia. She goes, I'm thinking East Anglia. Said, well, as long as it's not Suffolk, I don't really like Suffolk. She goes, I'm thinking Suffolk. As long as it's not Ipswich, because you know, I don't go well in Ipswich, so I'm thinking Ipswich. I said, well, as long as you don't run off with some young tractor boy. She goes, yeah, I've already changed my Tinder profile. I said, as long as I don't have to go off with some fat tractor guy that goes, I've changed your Tinder profile. Do you still want to be married to me? It's like, no. So we've been there 18 months. I'm joking! Look at you, Chris, you poor fat bastard. No, we've been in Ipswich now, and it's because well, shall I tell you why? This is the truth. This is why I moved. During Euro 2020, I sent a tweet because England drew 0-0 with Scotland. Remember that? Yeah. And everyone was upset. So I sent a tweet saying, don't worry, England will beat the Czech Republic, Scotland will lose to Croatia, England will qualify to the next round, Scotland will go out. One person said, that's crap, I think Scotland will beat Croatia, England will lose to Czech Republic, Scotland will qualify, England won't. I said, how much do you want to bet? He goes, I'll bet you 5 English pounds sterling. That was the only money I made during the whole pandemic. And I still haven't been paid. And I've learned never ever take a bet from Lorraine Kelly. She's a rough-edged cow and is always carrying this chip as well. You want your money? Come on my fucking shore. No, that didn't happen. That's the situation. I moved, and now this is it. My life now is daytime quiz shows. That's what I do. Anyone seen Winning Combination? Yeah. You look confused. I actually do. I have a daytime quiz show on ITV called Winning Combination. It's on at 3, the magical hour of 3 o'clock. And very big in care homes. Very big. And it's interesting. It's like they cut all my jokes, which is pretty bad, because it's called winning I always give them a winning combination joke. I said, congratulations, you are a winning combination. A bit like Hitler, a bunker, and a cyanide pill. That's a winning combination. Boris Johnson, number 10, and a removals van. That's a winning combination. All cut, everything cut. And I have to tell you, it wasn't something I wanted to do, but I thought I'd give it a shot. I did Celebrity Chase. Anyone seen on Celebrity Chase? I did it. It was pretty dramatic because I was 2 questions away from winning 128,000, but I didn't make it. And they loved it so much. They said, would you like to do your own quiz show? I said, no. They said, no, please, just try. Just come and do a pilot. And then they called me during pandemic. I said, okay, I'll give it a shot. So we shot a pilot. And I'm not good at chatting to contestants. I'm not Bob Monkhouse. I never even saw myself like that. And this was the moment. They said, try it. So a woman got through. I said, hello, what's your name? She went, Janet. I said, what do you do, Janet? She goes, well, that's the funny thing. I work for IKEA. I said, what's that? She goes, well, this is the funny thing. In Sweden, they pronounce it IKEA, but actually in England, we pronounce it IKEA. I said, do you know how it's really pronounced? She went, how? I said, nobody cares! It's the same joke from a few moments ago. They got me the job. And I've had to move to Ipswich. I've literally got them. I've had to move to Ipswich, and you know, if we get a 3rd series, I have to move to Lowestoft. If I get a 4th series, it's Granny's Bay. I'll be Granny's Bay. But it's great. Ipswich is a wonderful place. I'm very proud of Ipswich. It's the city of sanctuary. It's a wonderful place. They've actually taken in more Afghan refugees than anywhere else in the rest of the country. And I have to tell you, I've been supporting my local football team. We're going to Ipswich Town. And they drew the first 3 games 2-2. Literally, first game 2-2, second game 2-2, third game 2-2. The fourth game, I showed up wearing a ballerina's tutu. I thought it was a great gag, but the Ipswich fans didn't quite see the satirical side of things. They started heckling me, but I was propositioned by the AFC Bournemouth goalkeeper. And it taught me a very important lesson, that football fans can be very harsh and uncompromising, but goalkeepers can be tender and complimentary. And I'm very partial to a big bush, surprisingly. I'm joking! I think I'm going to shout that every 10 seconds. I'm joking! But that's the thing. I love this part of the town, the world. It's beautiful. Suffolk is beautiful. I'm proud of Suffolk, you know. And I'll tell you this, the rest of the UK, they did a survey that they actually said 23% of British people believe that Norwich is a made-up place by the writers of Alan Partridge. They do, they don't think it's a real place. Americans think that the Norfolk Broads is somewhere to meet women. And when you live there, you realise it's not. Actually, do you know, in Norfolk Zoo, a vulture escaped Norfolk Zoo, and in the press it was reported the police were scouring the area for an ugly bird with a big nose. 3 women in Norwich arrested. Now, you can't do jokes like that now. You can't do jokes like that anymore. You see, this is the thing, and this is the wonderful thing about the pandemic. We can't tolerate jokes about the other. We don't do that because we've all gone through this. You know, jokes about the Irish, like Paddy and Mick, those jokes went out in the 1970s because we were at war with the IRA, and British people were trying to keep Irish people down, so we made fun of them in jokes. But that you can't do that now, of course not, because we're all equal. You know, in Iran, they have the most brutal regime, but they're the most politically correct people. They don't tolerate jokes about gays, regions, you can't do that. The most extraordinary thing happened at an execution. You know, they execute gays all the time, but you can't do jokes about gays. And by the way, the story I'm going to tell you is a bit like those Jewish guys who were about to be executed by the Bolsheviks. And before they shot these 2 guys, one Jewish guy goes, do you know, I just want to say you're all filthy bastards. You're all going to hell. I hope that you all just die after you shot us. And the other Jewish guy goes, Jaime, don't make trouble. You know? It's a Jewish joke. But it happened. It actually happened. So what I'm going to tell you now is something that happened, but it sounds like a joke. Literally, a year ago, a gay guy was about to be executed by hanging, and the executioner said to him, do you have any last words? He says, can I tell a joke? They said, go ahead. He goes, 2 gays walk into a bar, and the executioner says, you're only making things worse for yourself. It happened! This is the world we are living in. You know? So we can't tolerate jokes about the other. Every day a comedian is being, this is unfair. Comedians are being cancelled because of jokes they said 10 years ago. But we've got to be very careful. And people say to me, aren't you worried of offending people post-pandemic? I would say, I've got news for you. I was offending people way before. I got thrown out of my own testicular cancer benefit, okay? I don't have testicular cancer. I was the MC. It was done for my friend, do you know John Hartson, the Welsh footballer, and Jimmy White? Jimmy White was sat where you are, sir. You know, you want to snooker player Jimmy White sat where you are. And I just said, Jimmy White is here. Sports people are so brave because they think it's emasculating, but no. Jimmy White is here, he's had testicular cancer, and he's had the operation where they took out one of his balls, polished it, and put it back in again. They threw me out! We should have danced to that one, actually. That was a proper, make a note of that tomorrow night. But that's the thing, and I realize now, my kids took my Twitter away from me for a while because they said, Dad, you're in your 50s, you don't understand modern morality, you don't understand. And it's true, people in our 50s, give me a cheer if you're over 50, give me a cheer. We were all all raised on the BBC. Okay, the BBC, when we watch shows like BBC Points of View, remember that show, BBC Points of View? Now, whatever that they talk about people being outraged on BBC Points of View, that is the line. Like, dear BBC Points of View, why, oh why, oh why, disgusted of Huntingdon. And then an actor reads out a letter and goes, dear Points of View, I'm offended at the best of times. Imagine my horror when on the television I saw a bare arm, a bare leg, a buttock, and exposed male genitalia. At which point I realized the television was off and I was looking at a reflection of myself. Whereupon I was immediately asked to leave my local branch of Dixon's. Yours truly, Nigel Farage. It's true, my kids took my Twitter away because I don't know how it works. I really don't. I don't know. You know, I do things on Twitter which I think are nice, which are lovely. You know, the DVD market for comedians, just the bottom went out a few years ago. So I thought I'd put my latest DVD as a free DVD download on Twitter. So I sent a tweet. I said, hey guys, fill your boots. I had about 200,000 followers. Hey guys, free DVD download, fill your boots, all yours, okay? I noticed at the same time, a friend of mine in America, an actor called Justin Baldoni, very good looking, tweeted a photograph of himself with his top off, saying, hey guys, my show Jane the Virgin is back on, tune in 8 o'clock, okay? I thought, oh, we tweet at the same time. I left it. The next day, 24 hours, I left both tweets. I saw his tweet had 23,000 retweets, 40,000 likes, okay? My tweet, no retweets, no likes, free DVD download, one reply saying, I'd rather kill myself. Which I retweeted, it got 10,000 likes. So I thought, you can't beat them, join them. So I sent the DVD download, I deleted that tweet, I sent it again this time, but with a photograph of myself with my top off. I just left it for 24 hours. I came back the next day, no retweets, no likes, one reply from Greenpeace Whale Rescue, asking if I would like assistance going back into the water. And then a reply to that from David Attenborough saying, is that Fatty McFatface? Which Priti Patel replied to saying, if it is, I'm sending Border Force boats now. And unless he can drive a lorry, he can fuck off back to Iran. I swear to God. I swear to God. My kid said, you're too old for Twitter, you know? I said, I'm a comedian. They said, no, you can't do jokes. Save your jokes for the stage where you can contextualize them. People don't understand. Twitter, lots of young people or old people, you read something quickly, you don't get the jokes. So, Dad, you need to use emojis. I said, why? Because emojis will make things clear. And I said, well, how? They go, well, let's try now. We saw what was trending that day was Hiroshima. So I thought I'd send a... No, I said a moving tweet to the people of Japan. I said, to the people of Japan on this awful anniversary, I send you my love and my prayers, smiley face, mushroom cloud. I got 1,000 followers, mostly from China. There's still lots of rivalry between China and Japan, actually. And that's the thing. And also, in my line of work as a person in the public eye, I'm in some very, very interesting spaces, but I wouldn't tweet about it. Like, I'm also Iran's transgender spokesperson. I'm not transgender, but I speak up for my Iranian transgender brothers and sisters, and I go to conferences, I hang out with Caitlyn Jenner, you know, used to be Bruce Jenner. And you do jokes with them. I said, I just read your book. I go, did you like it? I said, I love the title. Was it worth cutting my cock off? I love chapter 1, the gaping hole in my life. She was pissing herself. You can't put that on Twitter with like 10 heart emojis. You can't do that. I actually hung out with Frank Maloney. You all know Frank Maloney, who's now Kelly Maloney, the boxing promoter who became a woman. I was hanging out with her just before her operation. She's amazing. She had blonde hair, just like yours, man. Beautiful blonde hair. Was wearing Manolo Blahniks, Yves Saint Laurent dresses. she's still working on the voice. She's saying, "I tell you what, I mean, that Tyson Fury's off his nut, isn't he? Yeah, can I have a white wine spritz and put an umbrella in it? What fucking do ya?" We became mates. We exchanged numbers. She sent me a text saying, "Hey, it's my operation this week. Could you send a little tweet for transgender awareness?" I said, "Absolutely." So I sent a tweet on the day of the operation. I said, "Shout out to my friend Frank Maloney, soon to be Kelly Maloney. Good luck with your operation today. Red Cross, aubergine, pair of scissors." You're right, is that too much? Is that too soon? It's too soon. But this is the thing, and it's important for all of us now. Coming out of the pandemic, you're still laughing. I love when people still giggle. But what's relevant to all of us, it's important to reinvent yourselves. This is the time we can all go hop. Be who you want to be. People have been on furlough, you come back to work. A lot of people going back to work and they're new. Some people have put on weight, people lost weight, we've transformed. Be who you want to be. Reinvent yourselves. I'm on tour now to reinvent myself because I realize a lot of people don't know me. That's why. By the way, are there any Iranians here at all? Any Iranians in the house? Okay. I knew. This is a Nazi enclave. I should have known. We're the only Asian people here, I think. Literally the only Asian people on Friday. Okay, listen to white people. I feel very comfortable because I'm a British Iranian, which means half of me has a natural hatred for anything American, and the other half exactly the same. I'm one of you. But I've been doing lots of stand-up in the Persian language because they don't know me. They don't know me as a stand-up comedian. In Iran, they only know me as a film actor, and it's interesting because. I was on a talk show and they were asking me, about 10 years ago, they said, "Mr. Jalili, have got any films we could look forward to soon?" I said, "Yes, 2 years ago, I made a film about constipation, but it hasn't come out yet." "When's it coming out?" I said, "We keep pushing for a release." Will you let us know when it's coming out?" I said, "I'll be so fucking relieved." And now I go on, they said, "Have you got any films?" I said, "I've just done a film about diarrhea." They said, "Where's it coming out?" I said, "All over the shop." And they laugh at that, which is great. So you should know who I am. So I'm back on tour to reintroduce myself. I'm trying to wear nicer clothes. I'm trying to, you should know, I'm an actor, a comedian. That's why I did that little film. Do you like the little film at the beginning? Yeah. That's a big fuck off. Do you know who I am? I'm an actor, a comedian. I also have a sideline business selling biochemical weapons. But that's the Middle East to me. Everyone in the Middle East multitasks. You meet anyone from the Middle East, they'll give you a card which says, "Yes, I sell jewelry, fried chicken, motorcycle insurance, and Viagra." But in London, I choose to sell roses on the A40. It's a joke that gets a big laugh in Ealing, which is West London. But the thing is, that's what we have given to the West. We've given you the power of multitasking in jobs. And this is something people do in Britain. It's very normal. Like cobblers, when you go to shoes, you can also do what? Get your keys done, Shoes and keys. They're slightly disparate things, but it's two things in one. Like what about, what does the this Co-op supermarket? Co-op, what else do they do?
Funeral.
Yeah, it's very interesting. The older people in the second row just went funerals. We've already got that covered. I love that. But it's interesting. Funerals and kind of like supermarkets to me don't really go together. I mean, unless you die while you're shopping and you're at the corner of that market, Clean up on aisle 6. Shop till you drop. Unexpected item in the bagging area. Write that one down. So we're all disparate elements. That's why there's all this stuff about, racism. Look at your heritage. If you look back, everyone's part Irish. Some of you even part Middle Eastern or part Ethiopian. We're all a mix of things. So I think it's important to embrace the mix. Like, look at me. I'm Iranian, okay, but I've got a very posh accent, because I was born and raised in Kensington, in London. It's a very posh area. Now, I'm embarrassed because Kensington is the only borough in London to open a Kentucky Fried Pheasant. Silver spoon licking good. It's embarrassing. And it's true, I am an actor comedian, but I don't like to talk about the acting stuff because I don't think it. I mean, you all saw me in the film The Mummy. You've all seen The Mummy?
Yeah.
Thanks. But, as a stand-up, there's nothing to talk about. Like I was in the film Gladiator. You also Gladiator? Yeah. Do you like Gladiator? Yeah. Thanks. You won the Oscar. But I don't like to talk about it because there's nothing to talk about. Yeah, you've got a small partner in a great film, lucky me. Or Mamma Mia 2. Anyone seen Mamma Mia 2? Yeah. Thanks! I love that movie. But I don't like to talk about it. Because it's unseemly unless you have a point to make. And this is my point. Everyone was saying Mamma Mia 2 was successful commercially. It was the most commercially successful film pre-pandemic. They say it's because of British actors. Nothing to do with British actors. It's the music. The older I get, the more I absolutely love ABBA. Don't we love ABBA? ABBA they are pure, they are innocent. It gets you on a visceral level. Wow! The last film I saw before pandemic was Bohemian Rhapsody. Anyone see Bohemian Rhapsody? Yeah. Let me ask you honestly, did anyone watch that film with tears rolling down their cheeks? No, I know, for older people who cried because we underestimated that we knew every single word of every song. I didn't know Queen was my favorite band. I didn't know Freddie Mercury is Iranian. Freddie Mercury, his name is Feridun. It's an Iranian name. He's a Parsi. He's Iranian, raised in Zanzibar. Seriously, and can I tell you this? I watched Bohemian Rhapsody live on Top of the Pops, December 1975. I was a 10-year-old kid with my family. There was 20 of us and guests in the house. And we watched them singing, Bismillah. No, we will not let you go. Let him go. Bismillah. Bismillah is the most holy word in the Arabic language. And it means in the name of God. And we couldn't believe it was in a rock song and no one was being beheaded. Bismillah. And it wasn't like you could pause it and rewind. The whole family, we started singing, going, Bismillah. No, we will not let you go. La, ya Allah, Bismillah. No. We were going nuts. My dad was going, Bismillah. It seems inappropriate now, but when it finished, my father, I never forgot, he stood up and he looked at the television. He looked at Freddie Mercury and goes, this man, he is our spokesperson in the West. I will follow him to my dying days. We must follow everything he says. And in the corner, some old bloke just went, he is gay. I said, how do you know? He goes, I slept with him last night. And then mournfully, my arse is in tatters. I didn't know what that meant. It just was a weird thing, tatters and... It's a funny word. In Iranian saying my arse is in tatters. There's something funny about that. It's politically incorrect, but I didn't understand what it meant. I was 10 years old. But I knew I loved Freddie Mercury. I actually saw Freddie Mercury because he lived in Kensington as well, and I was a Kensington kid. I'll never forget, I saw him 2 weeks after he was on TV. Like he walked past my road. I was on a chopper bicycle, and I saw this man with a fringe and buck teeth and kind of and like a sheepskin gilet and like it was like purple flares. He was walking past. And if you're a celebrity, what you want people to say when they come and say, "Hey, Omid, I saw you on TV. You were so funny. You made me laugh. You know, I was dying of cancer, and then I saw you and I laughed and I got better." So you cured me. That's the shit I want to hear. Not if someone comes, the worst thing is someone says, "Hey, I saw you on telly," because you can't say, "I saw you on telly." But that's what I said to Freddie Mercury, and he had the best answer. I was on my chopper bicycle, walked past, I went, "Oi, oi, oi!
You were on telly, weren't you? And he looked at me and goes, yes, I was. And wasn't I fabulous? He owned it. And that's the thing I love. He owned everything. You see him on Live Aid. He owned Live Aid. It was his spirit just... God, that man is an inspiration. God, I miss him so much. And that's the thing. It's the music. It's music which is a ladder to the soul. And that is the reason why they're spending some time finding the new Bond, because I can reveal to you exclusively. Now, it's not me. Big joke. No. I'd be a great Bond, actually. Would I be a good Bond?
Yeah. Do it.
Now, you laughed a bit in too much of a derisory way. So I didn't like that at all. No Time to Die was released last week. It's doing very, very well, but they are delaying the announcement of the next Bond because the next Bond film, as you will hear next month, is a remake of Goldfinger. Okay, so because it was Sean Connery, they need someone even more powerful than Daniel Craig. So because what they're doing, you know, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who wrote Fleabag, she worked on the script for that. So now to make it more commercially viable, Goldfinger, the remake, is being done, no joke, with a couple of ABBA mashups, okay? Just take it from me, I've seen the script, okay? I can reveal to you exclusively, when the famous scene where Bond is on the slab, and he's tied down, there's a laser coming between his legs, and as it gets close to his groin, he goes, do you expect me to talk? They go, no, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die. And Bond goes, if you change your mind, I'm the first in line, honey, I'm still free. Take a chance. So I don't know why I'm doing that in an Arabic accent. I'm gonna do my very best. Wallahi, wallah. I'm saying, it's also politically incorrect to do. We can't do jokes about the other, but apparently you can't do accents now as well, and it's terrible. And I had a whole list of impressions I was going to do as a farewell thing. Can I just do one last impression for you? Yeah. Okay. All right. You're not going to tweet this or anything, because I might get a chomp. Okay. It's an impression. You can all guess who this is. Okay. Wow, wow! What are you talking about? I want to help the country. Why won't you help me help the country? Theresa May. Shout anyone, I'll give it a shout anyone, I'll do an impression. Shout someone. Boris. I have been Prime Minister. Nelson Mandela. It's not my fault Theresa May can't do Boris. I'm doing Theresa May doing impressions of everybody. Anyone else shout someone else?
Maggie Thatcher.
I am the Iron Lady! It's not my fault Theresa May shit in impressions. I'd like to address this actually. It's very interesting because all my career, I've been reviewed by white middle class men who all say, oh, here comes accent boy. And they've put me in a kind of box, like they think I'm racist. I say, I'm not racist. Just because I do an accent, excuse me. I'm a central London boy. I was raised with accents all around me, a multicultural place. To me, I love the musicality of people struggling with the English language. I'm also a very humble person, and as an Iranian, I respect people who are like even a year older than me, even if they can hardly speak English. I respect them, you know, even if they're an idiot, even if they're a fucking wanker. I respect them. You respect them because it's the Middle Eastern culture. I'm going to tell you a story, okay, and like accent warning, okay, but this is true what I'm telling you. When I was 22, I left university with a very good degree, and I started working in London as a driver for a Saudi Arabian family, okay? Now, they had an Egyptian butler, they had Filipino nannies, and I loved them all. They were older than me. The Egyptian butler was hilarious because he kept saying, Omid, I am from Egypt. Wallahi, it's Egypt. I am not a Saudi like these animals. They are Saudi animals. I was educated at the University of Alexandria, wallahi. And it was very, very different. And one day, the people come into the house. Once he came into the house, we're on the 4th floor of the flat. He goes, oh my God, Omid, I saw him. I said, who goes, him? I said, who? He goes, Wallah, I don't believe it. I said, sit down. He goes, I thought he was legend. It is true. He's outside. I said, what happened? He goes, I saw him. He went, ha, to me, and I ran for my life. I said, who? He goes, him. I said, who? He went, him. I said, who? He went, Dracula. I said, you saw Dracula. Wallah, he's outside now. Have a look. I looked outside the window. Opposite side door, there was a fancy dress party. The bouncer is dressed as a vampire. Has just seen this Arab walk past and just gone, hey, and the guy goes, ting! Educated. These people had respect. He's a wanker, but I respected him. Okay, now this will seem racist, but it's not. This will sound so racist. Even doing a Filipino accent is wrong. Because a Filipino accent is a little bit Chinese, a little bit Portuguese, a little bit kind of Hispanic. Okay? But I love these women. They go, Omid, we like you. And they say, Omid, we need some groceries. I said, sure. Because that's the intonation is up and down like that. And I wasn't quite tuned to it, but I like it. They go, Omid, we need some groceries. I said, sure, we want to go out and get some lettuce, some tomato. I said, you want some vegetables? You want some vegetables? And also some Brazil nuts, which threw me as a Brazilian. And then could you also get very, very importantly, a cucumber? And I get the last one, a cucumber. I'm terribly sorry, I didn't quite get it. A cucumber. What is that? It's a vegetable. Can you describe it? It's green and long. I said, oh, you mean like a courgette? No, not courgette. A cucumber. Now, I know now she's saying cucumber, okay? But I didn't get my ear wasn't tuned. So she got pissed off because just go to the shop and ask for a cucumber and we'll give it to you. And I'm thinking, she's older and I've never seen this mystery vegetable. Maybe I'll learn something. I went to the shop and said, yeah, can I like to do you like tomatoes, Brazil nuts? There's something on my list here. Sorry, I don't know what it is. It's a cucumber. Excuse me, a what? A cucumber. Then he had made, what's that? I said, it's meant to be a vegetable. He goes, describe it to me. I said, it's a cucumber. It is green and long. He goes, do you mean a courgette? I said, no, maybe I'm not saying it, but a cucumber. He goes, do you mean a cucumber? I said, oh yeah. He goes, you don't know what is a cucumber? I said, how long have you been here? You don't know what is a cucumber? Where is your education? There's a queue of people by. There's a guy who goes, I've been here for 2 years. I know what is a cucumber. Queue of people. I didn't ask you someone said, I cannot believe it. There's a man who does not know what is a cucumber. People, there's a whole queue of people going, hey man, what's going on? The guy is this crazy fucking guy, does not know what. Literally, there's an Iranian guy goes, I know what is cucumber. I have one up my arsehole right now. Because my arse is in tatters. I'm very soothing. There's a queue of people outside. There was a horse. I said, what are you doing? He goes, I heard you didn't know what a fucking cucumber is. I said, were you the horse that was punched in the face in Newcastle? He goes, that's fucking racist. Just because I'm from Newcastle, it doesn't mean I'm the same horse being punched in the fucking face like. And I'm finding it very hard to find a punchline for this routine. Can you help me? And the horse said, it's a recycled punchline, but I'm trying to save the environment. This is the world we live in. This is the crazy, mixed up world we live in. And politics was also there. Politics was there as a sideshow for us, wasn't it? I'd like to thank Boris Johnson and all these people for giving us a drama, a sitcom, that we were all, literally, before 2015, I never taught politics with anyone. We had Trump and Boris and everything, and everyone's engaged. I have to tell you this, I always believe in voting. But the last election, I'm so sorry to tell you, I did not vote, okay? I didn't vote. And I'm really ashamed to tell you, I don't think there was any point. And I'm even more ashamed to tell you, I believe in the vote. Women fought for the vote. People died for the vote. This seems really disrespectful, but on the day, I went in, I got a ballot, and on the ballot
I drew a massive cock. I never thought he'd get in. And there was that moment, you remember? There was that moment when he did get COVID and he was in hospital, and I think I speak for everyone, when we all felt, no, I don't want him to die a martyr. I'm just saying what everyone's thinking. I have a theory about Boris. I believe Boris. I quite like Boris Johnson because I actually believe he's trying so hard to get sacked, and we won't let him. Okay, this is not a very popular opinion, but hear me out. To be Prime Minister, you get paid £160,000, which for most of us, that's a lot of money. But he knows if you be Prime Minister, like Tony Blair or John Major, you get £500,000 just to give an after-dinner speech, £1 million book deal, okay? So he's thinking, I've been Prime Minister long enough. If I get sacked now, and he's a very materially avaricious person, he wants the money. So he's saying, I've got to get sacked. So this is what happens. He goes in to the public and says, okay, everyone, lads, I want to tell everyone that I don't care. I didn't go to a single SAGE meeting once. Yes, we told them that, Prime Minister. And you went up in the polls. Okay, well, tell them I had sex with Jennifer Akuri and I gave her thousands of pounds of public money. I had to tell them that. We did. And you went up in the polls. Okay, well, tell them that there was Russian involvement in the Brexit vote, and I actually take money from the KGB. They're totally involved. Just tell them that. Yes, we told them that. And you went up in the polls. Okay, well, tell them this. Tell them I don't care about their relatives. I don't care about COVID. I don't care if everybody dies. I don't care if the bodies are piled up, thousands of bodies high. Just tell them I don't care about their relatives. We told them that. And you went up in the polls. Why? Prime Minister, it looks like in the UK, people don't care about their relatives either. I'm going to dance to that. This routine's not quite there yet. I was actually going to dance to that. So I think he wants to get sacked, and that is the thing. That is the sideshow we're living on now. We're in the middle of, and with all this petrol shortages. I mean, things are getting a bit better now. Shortages in the supermarkets. I just don't like the way we're all treated like cattle. You know, they say we're stockpiling. Remember they said we're stockpiling. Well, we're a first world country. We're stockpiling on essential foods and medicines, but we're telling you this to reassure you. To reassure. I don't know how reassured you feel. I feel about as reassured as getting on a plane and you hear, "This is your captain speaking." Well, she's done it. She's left me. Help yourselves to the vodka. I've had 2 bottles. We'll be cruising at an average height of 500 feet, and when the plane banks to the left, is going towards the ground over Hammersmith. Look outside the left-hand side of the window, and that is her house! The performance was a bit too intense there. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But that's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. That's the thing. I don't want to talk about these things anymore. I don't want to talk about religion or terrorism or any of these things. Like for example, did anyone see me on BBC Breakfast? I'm so embarrassed. You can't talk about terrorism because things can happen live. Did anyone see me live on BBC when Jihadi John was killed? Did anyone see this? Literally, I was on with Louise Minchin, and then she goes, breaking news, Jihadi John has been killed in an American drone attack. But with us in the studio is comedian Omid Jalili here. Tell us, Omid, why was he called Jihadi John? I've got to improvise at 7:53 a.m. on a Monday morning. Why Jihadi John? And I said, well, that's a good question. There were 3 British members of ISIS, and ISIS called them Jihadi John, Jihadi Paul, and George. After the Beatles, because even in jihadi circles, we know that Ringo Starr contributed nothing to the Beatles. Whatsoever. He just kept the beats of bullshit. I could do that with my arsehole, wallahi ya wallah. Do you know a satellite from space can look down and read the time on your watch? Do you know that even in here it can do that? Do you know a satellite from space, even when you're indoors, can zoom in and look at the small print on a contract that you're about to sign? A satellite can zoom in and see how many steps you've done on your Fitbit. How the fuck did they not see the Taliban coming? It's a mystery to me. And I'm sorry, I'm sick and tired of celebrities putting their oar in about terror. Did you see Bono from U2 saying, we need to use comedy against the Taliban? Do you hear this? Use comedy. Like he's not even seen my act. I've been doing stuff for years. You can send in Amy Schumer. Send in Chris Rock. And not like send them a YouTube clip or a DVD. You meant physically send Chris Rock to a tent in Kabul to do a gig for the Taliban. You know when Chris Rock found out, he said, motherfucker said, what? You sent his pasty ass into Kabul. I just had this image of Bono showing up at a tent. And literally they say, one moment please, I have to speak to him, 1 second. Sir, Bono from U2 is here. What does he want? He wants to do some jokes. Kill him. And kill the guy who booked him. I asked for the Michael McIntyre. We need someone for the Christmas party. You have to think of someone. I know. Can you get me the Benny Hill? I'm sorry, sir, but Benny Hill is dead. No. Was it a drone attack? Many years ago. I liked him very much. What a shame. It's a great show. Man, keep slapping the guy. Oh, can you get me the Bob Monkhouse? I like the Bob Monkhouse. So he said, but he also is dead. No! Was it a drone attack? No, sir, it was cancer many years ago. Oh, I liked him very much. Oh, can you get me the Bruce Forsyth? Yeah, wallahi, the Bruce, wallahi, Generation Game and Strictly Come Dancing. I watch it all the time. Can you get me him? I'm sorry to tell you, sir, that Bruce Forsyth also passed away. No, when? About 2017? No. Hey, wallahi, the Bruce, wallahi. Allah, the Bruce, wallahi. Was it a drone attack? No, sir, it was natural causes. Oh, what a shame. Is Omid Jalili available? I believe he's on tour now. Good. Order a drone attack. Are you clapping now? Do you understand what you're clapping? Me being blown to smithereens in a Taliban drone attack. You bastards, that's very disturbing. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been a lovely audience, but I was really funny. I really was. Seriously. There's a lot of shit out there you can watch. We had a rough start and you weren't so sure about me at the beginning. I think we got there in the end. Do you like me? Do you like me? Thanks. Will you tweet nice things? I'm going to finish with two very important things. Now, what I'll do one bit now. I'll do a final bit and then I'll walk off. Okay, I'll just walk off. And if you want more, scream for more, and I'll come back up. Okay, should we do that? I'll just stand just behind that curtain. In fact, you could probably see my nose just from the corner. So I have to build in my encore, because last time I was here, I went off, and when I came back, everyone fucked off. So I don't trust rhythms and acts. You all think you're so funny. That's all. Point number one is basically, ladies and gentlemen, is be easy on the comedians. There are a lot of people, we're just finding our feet. You know, comedy is something that develops, and I was shaky because I haven't done many gigs. I've done this about the 14th gig I've done in 2 years, okay? And I think it's because we're all so quick. It's good the world's come together, but we're quick to judge and we are quick to cancel people. And sometimes we cancel the wrong things. There are things in the English language post-Brexit which should have been dealt with and are still in the English language, which I think are very, very racist. Have you heard the term play the white man? Okay? Yeah, it's a term, it's from colonial times. By the way, colonialism, we just added the new definition in the Oxford Dictionary of colonialism, which is foreigners. It's for your own good. You see? That gets a big laugh in Iran. Because it said, play the white man, be the civilized man, play the bigger man, play the civilized man, play the white man. And that is a term from colonialism which is still in use in the English language today. I heard it myself. Someone said it to me just before pandemic in a queue at Boots. I was stood there in a queue. You know, English people like to queue, and we just stood there, very, very patient. And this banker wanker just walked past everybody in a pinstripe three-piece suit. And he walked past, and I'm sorry, some white people are such pussies. Everyone just stood there going, oh God, I can feel a few anuses shrivel like that. Pushed in. And it took like a big brown bear, daddy bear, here. Gay people call me Daddy Bear, I should tell you. That's a stupid aside, I'll leave it up to I tapped him, I said, excuse me sir, there's a queue. And he didn't even look at me and go, I'm really late, I'm really late. I've got to get to the front. And everyone was like, okay, fine. I said, no, get to the back of the queue, we're all late. And he looked at me and goes, oh, come on, play the white man. I went, oh, he thinks I'm white. Can you imagine the validation? He said to me, play the white man. So I did. I killed him and took all his possessions. Which was the correct thing to do. Thank you very much. Good night. One other thing I want to tell you very quickly is also, has anyone ever met someone they haven't seen for 30 years? You know, it used to be like Friends Reunited. It was our generation of people who go, oh, I haven't seen them for 30 years. And I had a friend, you know, as a comedian, you tour around and all your old friends come out of the woodwork, old primary school friends. And I had a friend of mine I hadn't seen for 30 years, a university friend. 30 years I hadn't seen, he was a real mank. He was like, yeah, I'll be there. Look at you, you bald fat bastard. You look exactly the same as me. Look at you, we're hugging, we're crying, we're like rubbing bellies. And the reason why I don't talk about Brexit anymore, because Brexit came up and it ruined the lovely atmosphere. Just said, listen man, don't tell you, don't tell you. Vote without me, you know what I'm saying? Because you don't know what it's like to be in your multicultural London bubble, in your ivory towers, right? Because I live up north, right? Next to Pakistani after Pakistani. And I voted, send the Pakistanis back to wherever it is they come from. I looked him in the eye and I said, Sanjeev, I don't know. So I would like to make a point. I'm now going to finish, ladies and gentlemen, with my very first routine that I ever did in stand-up comedy, which I have to tell you, I did it and I stopped it. I stopped doing it around 2006 because it kept dying. It was my first ever routine, it kept dying. And I did it because I did it in 1995 at the Assembly Rooms press launch, Edinburgh Festival. The whole industry was there. And I was the only diversity at the press launch. Everyone did 3 minutes. There were white guys, brilliant, and I did this one story. It died in its arse, and I never understood why. Now, after years, I realize why. Because at the beginning of my career, I did lots of jokes to ingratiate myself with Britain. I made fun of myself, like my name is Omid. Omid in Iran means hope. It's a shame that Jalili means less. Remember that? And people kind of making fun of it. They go, like, I don't know much about comedy. For you, an Englishman, an Irishman, a Scotsman, to you, that's a joke. To us, that's a hostage situation. You see, you're like, no, you should be embarrassed for laughing. And it was good, it was fun, and people thought, oh, he's a bloke, makes fun of himself. But this routine, the heroes of the story were brown people. And people, like 25 years ago, they couldn't quite get it in their brains that they were the heroes. This is the story, okay? No, I'm going to do it for you now. No pressure, but if you don't laugh, you are so fucking racist. I tell you this. We have not moved forward one bit. Some of you know the story, some of you don't, okay? People know I have an obsession with Godzilla, okay? All right, you all know my obsession with Godzilla. I used to do these stupid impressions, like, it was because I saw the film King Kong versus Godzilla, and they used to fight, and then when they became friends, and King Kong is waving Godzilla goodbye as he goes back in the sea, and Godzilla does that one final turn and goes, yeah! As if to say, laters, mate. And I just love that time, yeah! So I developed a whole career of doing these Godzilla impressions. Like, here's Godzilla having his toe stepped on. Yeah! It's not funny. Yeah, you're right, it's not funny. And you're looking at what's that. Here's Godzilla having asked for peppermint tea, but then getting a Turkish coffee. Yeah! Yeah, it's not funny. You're looking really blank. It's not funny at all. It's so stupid, okay? But here's the reason why. I went to a film, when I went to see this, it was an afternoon matinee performance at Empire Leicester Square, okay? Cinema a bit like this, we're sat like in the very back, near the exit door, okay? It's me, my dad, and my uncle. We're just sat there, I'm 10 years old. And my uncle and my dad, they're kind of jokers. And this story is now seeped into Iranian culture. It happened, okay? This happened, but it almost sounds like a joke, and it's not, okay? This is the perspective of me, 10-year-old British-Iranian kid, London, 1975. A door opens and a skinhead comes and sits down, literally one row ahead of us, 5 seats away. And he just sat there, he's not clocked us. These are the days of severe Paki bashing, where if you were brown, you couldn't get your head kicked in just for existing. So my heart's beating. But my dad and my uncle, all they see is a shining bald nut, and they're compelled by their culture to sit behind it and smack it on their head. It's part of a weird male bonding exercise in Iran, which doesn't quite work in London in 1975. Okay? My heart's beating because my uncle says to my dad, Ahmad, I give you 50 pence if you dare. He takes the money and he starts shuffling over like this. He sits down, and the bloke's just sat there watching the film. He spits like that. My heart is beating, just goes really hard. What? My dad goes, Hassan, what are you doing here? Who? Hassan, Toy, it's you. He goes, no, my name's Brian. He goes, oh, sorry, it's a mistake. I thought you were someone else. Please forgive me. Over, sits down. Poor skinhead, he's been hit so hard, his brain has been moving around in his cranium. He doesn't quite understand what's happening to him, but carries on watching the film. My uncle says, that was great, I give you £1 if you do it again. Takes it, shuffles over, sits behind him. He's hit him so hard the first time, there's a red print of a palm, clearly visible. So he goes for the ear this time, spits, and just goes, don't you want to? Hassan, it is you, don't lie to me. I said, my name is Brian. I know, sorry, it's a mistake again. I know, gave it away. He goes, I'm so sorry, how could it happen 2 times? Please enjoy the film, forgive me. Sits down, to give him credit, the skinner just gets out of his seat, walks all the way around and sits where you are, so seat 1, row 1, like diagonally as far away from us as possible, okay? I can't believe it, but my uncle's taken out a £5 note. Okay? One last time, and you are the hero of my ages. That takes, and he's walking, as he's walking down,
No one is watching the film. Everyone's going, "You watching this?" Okay. He sat behind him. He's looking up at us like this. The guy is still reeling for his ear. It feels thick. He's lost some hearing in his ear. He's touching the back of his head like this. And as he finally sits down, my dad goes for a triple whammy and goes, and a headbutt back of his head. He goes, "What the fuck do you want?" There's hushed silence. And my dad goes, "Hassan, here you are. I was smacking a bald wanker up there." True story. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Good night. Give me that right. Follow me on Twitter at Omid9, Instagram, Omid Jadini. I love you guys. Thank you, Livingston.